simpler the defense is, and that's one of the reasons they're playing faster. How much simpler is it?
Well, in the sense of less volume going into games, it's a big time difference. Because I've always just believed it's not about how much you do, it's about what you do and how well you do it. So making sure our guys know our keys, know our reads. We practice all their plays to everything we do so we can go out and play fast.
Where did you get that philosophy as a player, or was there a couple of?
No, it definitely my father, and then as a player and just kind of my coaching experience, different stops. Just I've been with teams that had smaller packages, some that had larger, and just kind of got a feel for when it was a little tighter, a little smaller, guys played a little bit faster.
5 turnovers on Saturday is, that's a pretty impressive mark. What did you see on the film, and what were kind of your takeaways from what you were able to accomplish in that department?
Yeah, I think just coverage-wise, a great job of being able to, push coverages when we need to push coverages. Guys playing with vision on the ball when it was time for them to be zone players and go get the ball. Saw a lot of good pictures of that. And then pass rush. I think the quarterback was hit quite a bit, or the pocket was being pushed into his lap, which created missed throws. And so we need to just keep that up. Yeah.
When they made the change at quarterback, how much did that kind of throw you off of your game plan? Because obviously, I assume you're not prepping for a guy who's backing up a 4-year starter.
Yeah, we knew about him, and we knew they used him in certain ways to run the football. The biggest difference was for our front. The way you rush that kid versus the starter is totally different. So them adjusting in game to how we need to rush that guy is quite a bit different. So we learned a lot from that.
Was there one group you were specifically most impressed with?
Yeah, I was impressed with the defensive line. I think the way that they played up front, they really dominated the line of scrimmage, and against a really good running back and a good offensive line, we're able to hold that guy pretty much throughout the whole game, so it was good to see.
James Rawls has made the jump into a starting role. What has he done in the last year to kind of take that next step?
I think it's just been a lot of just work. I think he had just conversation with Coach Lange and myself, and just, hey, where do you need to go to get to where you want to get, and the things he needed to work on starting right after the last game of the season last year, and the work he put in the winter, spring, summer, I think is really paying off, at least so far. So,
is he a little bit similar to Isaac? Just because he's not a big guy at all.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he's an athletic, twitchy guy. He's a little bit bigger than Isaac, but yeah, he uses athleticism and does a good job, and I think kind of how we're playing fits to his traits.
With that run defense, and particularly the defensive line's involvement in it, I know the big run did happen, so you have to take it within the context of the game. But when you take that out, I mean, the run defense was holding Boise State to, I think, like 50 yards. Just how impressed were you with what you were able to accomplish there against a team that I think was probably trying to run the ball quite a bit?
Yeah, I'm very happy with that, because whenever you can make a team one-dimensional and they have to throw it, it takes away half their game plan, their play action. It takes away all that stuff. So the ability to stop the run, make a team one-dimensional is a huge part of playing good defense.
How do you think your secondary will be challenged this week, especially with an experienced quarterback for the Bulldogs?
Yeah, I think another talented team, talented group of wideouts, and then a veteran quarterback. Another good quarterback, and we're going to see a ton of them throughout the season. So I think in this conference and the teams we have in our schedule, every week's a challenge, because we're going to play good receivers, good quarterbacks every week we play.
I didn't keep track of the number of plays the inside linebackers had, but did you rotated them a lot more than you did last year?
Yes.
What's the reason behind that? Just the depth, or
the depth's a big part of it, but also just want guys to stay fresh. So again, the ability to lock in, focus, play faster, not having to play 80, 90 plays a game. You can break that down, and we kind of just looked at, if you can just take 12 plays off a guy like Omar per game, that's about 2 games when the season's over. So you talk about his body, his wear down, the ability to keep him fresh week to week. That's a huge thing.
Talking to the offensive guys yesterday, some of the areas they wanted to clean up were penalties and turnovers, but defensively, what are some of the areas that, after a performance like that, you're trying to clean up?
Yeah, we took a hard look at, even though we made a play, okay, the backside of the coverage, was that sound? Because that's what Fresno's looking at, is, they're going to try to look at where we weren't sound and try to hit that. So really cleaning up those details of not necessarily the point of attack, but making sure the backside and everything's on point.
You talk about the importance of communication at that linebacker spot. For game 1, how was it?
It was good, because they challenged us with formations, unbalanced, tackle over. We were able to communicate, get the front set the way we want it. So for the first game, I was very pleased with their communication.
Coach Bray had mentioned that he thought the defensive line dominated was probably the most dominant group out there. Did you feel like that as well from Saturday?
Yes, sir. Just be able to take off the ball and really cause havoc in the backfield. In terms of that's his mentality, is start up front and just playing that aggressive front, taking off the ball and causing havoc.
Does that feel good in the sense that, for the last several years we've heard that maybe the defensive line was the weak spot of this defense, and now you guys have kind of
in terms of recruiting of so forth as a new staff and recruiting all these guys and us being able to develop and being here to this point, that was kind of in our nature the whole time of being able to take off the ball, and same thing reiterating back to that first point. So
when you look back at the film, particularly in the run defense, what do you feel like your group was able to do against that Boise State offensive line and George Holani?
Just be able to, same thing, take off the ball and cause havoc in the backfield. I think up front, all the guys is real talented, especially the linebackers as well, as filling those gaps and blitzing and everything. And that's just what we love to do, is just take off and get to the ball. So, yep.
When a team's got a real running threat at quarterback, how does it change what you do specifically?
Excuse me?
When the opponent has a running quarterback, who's a threat to take off, what does it change for you specifically?
It doesn't change nothing. We just got to still be able to get off the ball and kind of be able to redirect to that skill level and to that speed level, and as well as hitting all points as containing a talented quarterback in that sense. And just continue to tighten up the little details in terms of that standpoint. So, yep.
Gotten to look at Fresno State yet? What do they bring on offense?
We got to look at them a little bit. They're a lot of 11 personnel, kind of 50-50 in terms of run and pass. We plan on getting after this quarterback more than ever, and as well as stopping the run as we usually do. So, that's about it.
We saw you guys take a step forward in the pass rush last week, too. How much is your group on the defensive line involved in that this year?
It is extremely involved, especially with Coach Bray and this defensive scheme that we're in. Be able to create a lot of plays and a lot of opportunities for us to get after these quarterbacks and be able to get them down to the ground. So, yep.
What was it like playing with that big lead and that crowd going in the first half? Was that a lot of fun?
It was awesome. It was an awesome experience having, first game here, first atmosphere this year and everything, and being here and stuff, having it. I think it was a sellout, being here and stuff, and a new scoreboard all lit up and everything. It was an amazing time, and I thank you for all the fans coming on out. So,
Did it feel weird playing in almost kind of at half a stadium?
No, it didn't feel weird. I think, as all as I know, it was hard for Boise to communicate. The noise level was crazy, and they was trying to communicate, and they couldn't even listen to their calls and adjustments up front and everything. But besides that, this Oregon State pretty much bring that energy every game. So, yep.
To that point, how much are you preaching creating your own energy defensively this week as you go into, a road environment where you're not going to have the crowd on your side?
Well, I believe it all comes back to us. It's all about us and all the guys on this defense and everything, just creating that confidence and that spirit that we all share together and have in terms of creating our own energy. And we always come out turning everything. So, yep.
So after getting to take a look at the film overall, successful day, getting out to that 24-point lead, forcing 5 turnovers. Maybe more specifically, how did you think you guys did there in the defensive backfield?
I think it was a great start. A lot of work to still do, but I think it was a great start of the season, good stepping stone. A lot more things that we got to improve on, but I think it was a great way to start our journey.
With the turnovers in particular, I know that was a point of emphasis all fall, so how nice was it to see that kind of come to fruition in game 1?
Oh, it was great. We was getting pressure on the quarterback. They was throwing it up, to us, and that's just the way we like it. We want them to test us and show them why they shouldn't throw it our way, so it was good.
Jaden was named the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week this week. How deserving do you think he was of that, given the way he played on Saturday?
Very deserving. He played a great game, forcing fumbles, getting picks, getting PBUs, getting tackles. He always set the standard. Since I've gotten here, he set the standard for not only just our room as DBs, but the whole team. So it was great to see him get some recognition.
Was there anything specific you saw of how these turnover opportunities were created? Was it the pass rush? Was it you guys locking down in coverage?
I think there's a collective of both. When you get a good pass rush, the ball's not going to be as good to the receiver, but also you have to be in position to get a pick. So I think they work together.
What do you see? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Allison. What challenges do you see for Fresno State this upcoming Saturday?
Fresno State, they like to pass the ball. Challenge-wise, I think we just got to eyes, discipline, stay low, be in position, and we're going to make the plays.
That was my question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we
okay.
go. You feel left out? They didn't throw one to you.
Just a little bit, but don't worry. I got y'all this week.